we have a duty to challenge the federal government that you cannot kill the opposition. You cannot stifle the opposition. And we would have been able to do that better if we had stayed together. So citing internal wrangling, citing, what again do you say? That they say
worsening toxic political environment.
So the toxicity is a matter of perception. I don't know what he refers to as toxicity or the toxic political environment. That's not toxic political environment. And I can tell you, let me tell you something today that most people don't know. I've said this thing in another interview, but I'm going to say this particular one. There was a time that His Excellency Rotimi Amechi went to the national chairman and was threatening to leave the coalition. You know why? He felt that the chairman was pampering Peter Obi, that he was conceding everything to Peter Obi. I had two deputies. One of them was brought by Peter Obi. Amechi cannot point at anybody in the NWC that you can say is an Amechi man. I doubt if Atiku can say, okay, this is my person I nominated. The National Organizing Secretary was Peter Obi man. And by the way, before His Excellency Peter Obi joined the coalition, you had other people like Osita Chidoka, the former Minister of Aviation, in the coalition, working very hard for the coalition building. He was hoping to be the National Organizing Secretary. But when Peter Obi came, in order to bring him, to give him a sense of belonging and everything, that's how we lost Osita Chidoka. You know, because we now gave that position to Peter Obi to nominate, you know. And there are so many other people within the party system, within the party structure that he nominated. Apart from, so other people were like, why are you giving this man this so much concern? Because we recognize that politics is a game of addition. And the more people were able to lock in, and if we have to make some concession that is not going to kill anybody, then we have to make those concessions. And that's why we did. So if anybody should be complaining of toxic environment or marginalization within the party, no, I don't think His Excellency Peter Obi, given what I know to be the truth. I think they left, because that was the second leg of your question, why did they leave? I think they left because they probably yielded to the propaganda that ADC is an Atiku party. They probably yielded to that propaganda, which is not true. It has no basis in reality. There's no one who understands the inner workings of ADC today that can make that claim. So they felt that if they had stayed and fight for ticket, they probably would have lost out one way or the other. So they had to find accommodation. So, but we're building a coalition. A coalition means there are contending interests that the leadership will have to balance. Because if the ticket had gone to Atiku Abubakar, he will still need a Peter Obi. He will still need a Rotimi Amechi. He will still need other people. If he had gone to Peter Obi, he will still need an Atiku Abubakar. He will still need an Amechi. He will still need other people as well. So in a coalition, interests have to be carefully balanced and people have to be protected as much as possible. But I think His Excellency Peter Obi, I don't think he enjoys that kind of politics. I think the kind of politics that give him comfort is that which guarantees for him, even before he steps in, that he will get the ticket without contest. I think that's the kind of politics that's suitable for him or that he loves. But that is not a problem. So I think the NDC provides that kind of opportunity in a way that ADC could not have provided. Nobody in ADC, not even the national chairman David Mark, could guarantee the ticket to anybody at any level. He had always repeatedly maintained that we will guarantee a fair, a level playing ground. But to say, okay, don't worry, I'll give you the ticket for the chairman, or I'll give you the ticket. No, ADC is not that kind of party. No, ADC is not that kind of party.
All right, there are many people who think that the legal battles ahead of the ADC might hinder it from participating in the 2027 elections? What do you think?
Which legal issues? You see, let me tell you, one of the, and I've seen a lot of vicious attacks coming towards ADC as if we are the ruling party that the NDC wants to take power from. You understand? I don't think it makes sense for opposition parties to be attacking each other. Our goal is the same, to save the country from the misrule of the APC. We may have had our disagreements, wittingly or unwittingly, that have led to this breakup to NDC and ADC. But if we handle it maturely, we can still work together as opposition political parties. We said we're going to form an alliance. That alliance was still possible. But to use the word you just used now, the toxic environment that has been created will make such impossible. We don't consider NDC to be our opponent or our enemy, sorry. We don't consider them to be our enemy. We still see NDC as a potential ally, and we are not ruling out anything. But the most important thing is that they created the impression that ADC is drowning under legal challenges. The answer is no. ADC is not drowning under legal challenges. At the time that we came into the ADC did not have a single case in court, not one. Not one.
What happened?
Because the agents of destabilization, the agents of the ruling party bent on frustrating the opposition coalition, started to engineer these cases. You can go and check, you are a journalist. At the point that the ADC was announcing that we are going to the coalition was announcing the ADC as a political party for us, ADC had no single case in court. Because the case that they had among themselves before we came in had already been settled through the ADR, the Alternative Dispute Resolution, and the national chairman of the party at the time, we just met him. So one of the major attractions of ADC to the coalition leaders was the fact that it was not encumbered by, because you hear people saying ADC had 17 court cases before they went into the ADC. Why did they go into party that has so much cases? ADC did not have a single court case by the time we went in. That is number one. Number two, as of today, ADC had only 3 cases. 3. And these 3 cases are almost laughable because they are contrived. And I'll tell you the 3 cases. One, that was the case that the Supreme Court referred us back, that the case of Nafiu Bala, that the Supreme Court referred us back to the Federal High Court, which is now in front of Justice Nwite, that they are now asking to recuse himself from the case. That is one of the cases, and it has always been there before even His Excellency Peter Obi joined the party in December, because that case was initiated in September, so that case was there. The case of this National Association of Former Legislators that's asking for the deregistration of ADC on the grounds that we did not win any election in the last election, in the 2023, which has no basis in fact. Because ADC, in fact, won one House of Representatives in Kogi, 1 House of Assembly, and INEC has testified to that publicly, that ADC met all registration requirements, and there was no basis to ask for the deregistration of the ADC. The third case, I think, is that of Abejide, Leke Abejide, who has also left the party. So where are the cases? Where are the cases? You see, what they were expecting was that the Supreme Court will bury us on the issue of status quo ante bellum. But the Supreme Court did not do that. Unanimous decision of 5 Supreme Court justices said that doesn't make sense in legal terms. Remove it. And INEC complied immediately by restoring the legislation. Today, there is no encumbrance in the leadership of the African Democratic Congress, ADC. And also, anybody that is talking about ADC having legal challenges and is unstable and is encumbered is not telling the truth. Anybody is free to go to any party they want, but to say the reason you are doing what you are doing is because ADC is unstable or has legal challenges, or no, that doesn't make sense. And we are glad that majority of the party members are not falling for it. As at yesterday, we have sold over 720 forms to members across the country willing to contest on the platform of the party. We have sold over 60 governorship forms. We have sold over 40 governorship forms. We have sold over, 200 House of Representative forms. We have sold over 60 Senate forms. We have sold 3 presidential forms. So, as of today, we have sold over more than 720 forms. And we are still selling. So, anybody that in some states, we have up to 5 governorship aspirants in some states, So in some states, we have up to 9 people wanting to be senators on the platform of ADC. So the idea, the party is falling apart, people are leaving the party. No, it's just illusion. ADC is intact and it is solid.